Welcome back, my friends. I trust that you've enjoyed my story so far. Professor Emma Grant has innocently introduced herself into Detective Earl Solano's narcotics case. Two students are using the professor's creative writing class as cover for their drug ring. How exciting is that? Let's continue with the case, shall we? Emma stares at her ex. He points to the couch. I have a case I'm preparing for. Sam's at my parents'. All right, I'm only staying the night. I won't bother you. That detective looked like he wanted you to stay with him instead of here, he said pointedly. I saw how he looked at you at the hospital. That's ridiculous. He's been nothing but kind and courteous. If you say so. I do. Professor Grant awakens in her ex-husband's apartment. Matt hands her a cup of tea. I ran out of coffee, he tells her. Fabulous, she says, and takes the cup from him. She reaches for her phone to call her daughter. They talk for a few minutes. I'll see you later, baby, she says and hangs up. Her phone buzzes in her hand. Hello? It's the detective. He's called to remind her that he will meet her at her apartment to change her locks. She agrees and drives toward her apartment. The detective gets out of his car and waits outside the building. Her apartment building is garden style, not very common in Queens. Two-storied, detached from her neighbor's unit. There's another man standing beside the detective. She falters, wearing a timid smile. Professor Grant, this is my partner, Detective Paul Derrick. Nice to meet you, Professor, Detective Derrick says. He smiles brightly at her. Detective Derrick is tall, white, and has a bright smile. He emits an aura of friendliness, and she smiles back at him. She nods and inserts her key in the lock. Her stuff is still strewn all over. While she puts them to rights, the detectives install the new locks. She has a pile of broken things that can't be fixed in the corner. She eyes them sadly. Professor, your lock has changed. Do not make more than 2 copies of the keys. The lock we've installed is biometric. It needs your fingerprint to unlock it. Detective Derrick shows her how to program her fingerprint, while Detective Solano gathers the broken lamps and other damaged things for the trash. He bags them and takes them outside. When he returns, he watches her closely. Is there something wrong, Professor? She's looking around carefully. Emma frowns as she examines her apartment. Something's different, she says carefully. Both detectives look around also. What's different? Asks Detective Solano. Emma looks up suddenly. The lights are too bright. She points at the lampshade in the ceiling. They all stop to stare at the light. Detective Solano and his partner notice the too bright bulb exactly when she does. Detective Solano reaches for the light switch and flicks it off. Professor, please gather whatever you need for a few days. You cannot stay here, he tells her gently, urgently. Detective Paul ushers her to the other room to gather what she needs. Emma rushes to grab clothes, toiletries, everything she can think of, and shoves them into an overnight case. When she joins the detectives, they are staring at the ceiling intently. Do you have everything you need, Professor? Detective Solano asks, not taking his eyes off the ceiling. Yes, I think so. What's wrong with my lights? She asks. She's trying to sound calm, but her voice betrays her. I'm not sure, but we need to leave now. Detective Derrick reaches for her bag and leads her out of the apartment. Earl Solano follows them out slowly. They reach his car. Detective Derrick hands her in and shuts the door. Detective Solano turns to the building and walks back to pull the door shut. The explosion is loud. The door and windows shoot out violently. Detective Solano flies 10 feet in the air. He lands with a damaging thud on the hood of the car. Emma screams, scrambling with the door latch. She's out, reaching as the detective's limp body slides off the hood and onto the ground. Detective Derrick and Emma reach him at the same time. The detective is down, unconscious but breathing. Shards of glass from the windows litter his jacket and face. The chaos of fire trucks and police make the scene surreal. Upon examination, the firemen find evidence of C4, the remnants of a 100-watt bulb, and a short fuse. Emma refused to leave the detective's side. She sits beside him in the emergency room as the doctors check him for injuries. He sustained bruised ribs and a few cuts from the glass. She and Paul hadn't been injured. Detective Solano sits up on the gurney watching her. The doctor wrapped his ribs and bandaged the cuts on his brow. Why did you go back, Detective? Emma asked dully. He looks at her, his gaze soft. I was just going to shut the door properly. Paul opens the partition and enters the small space. The doctor says you can go home. Chief wants you to rest, but wants a full report ASAP.
I don't have a home, detective, and I realize that I can't go back to my ex-husbands or anyone I know, Emma says with tears filling her eyes.
You're coming home with me, he said, surprising both Emma and his partner. After signing the discharge papers, Detective Derek drives his partner and a very silent professor to his building. I'll call you later. Get some rest, he says. Let me know what forensics find out, Detective Solano says. He steps out of the car and leads the professor into the building. The elevator ride is silent. Emma eyes the numbers as they climb steadily. The elevator stops on the 15th floor. Here we are, Detective Solano says. He unlocks the door and ushers her in. Emma stands in the middle of his living room. The furniture and decor are surprisingly pleasant. She was expecting the typical bachelor's pad. But this had the lived-in feeling. He guides her to his guest room. It's neutral in decor. She sets her bag down and turns to him. How long will I be staying here? She asks. It'll be until we can find you someplace safe. The detective sways a little. Make yourself at home. I'm going to rest a bit. Emma closes the space between them. Let me help you. Earl points to the closed door across from them, and she helps him into his bedroom. Again, she is struck by how cozy the room feels. She helps him peel off the jacket and shirt until his wrapped chest is left. Then she helps him lie down. She takes his shoes off and pulls the cover over him. Rest well, detective. If you need anything, just call out. Emma, my name is Earl. After all this, he gestures between them, I think we can drop the formalities. Emma smiles. Okay, call me if you need anything, Earl. Emma shuts the door and closes her eyes for a minute. The events of the past couple days bear down on her. However fast the police are working, they aren't working fast enough. She realizes that whoever broke into her apartment and ransacked it hadn't been there to take anything. It was to cover what they did to her lights. She couldn't fathom why. To be fair, she really hadn't seen anything more than those guys passing and hiding packages. Why then are they trying to scare her? A few hours later, the detective emerges out of his bedroom. Emma was at his desk working on preparing midterm tests. She looks up at him and then looks away. He'd taken off the wrappings. His chest looks powerful but bruised. He was wearing a pair of sweatpants, accentuating his muscular thighs and legs. He doesn't say anything and heads toward the bathroom. Emma puts her school stuff away. She debates on waiting for him to come out, but heads toward the kitchen. His shelves are well stocked. Again, she notes the lived-in feel of his home. By the time Earl came out of the bathroom, Emma has the table set with 2 bowls of soup and sandwiches waiting. Wordlessly, Earl returns dressed in casual clothing and sits at the table. They eat in silence. When they're done, the detective suddenly walks over to her and puts out his hand. Emma places her hand in his and he leads them to the living room. They sit on the couch and Emma waits for him to speak. I have to ask. I know the answer, but I have to ask. What kind of deal did you have with Edward Rivera? Is that what you think? That I have something to do with this? She counters. I know you're not involved, but to be thorough, I had to ask. I appreciate how completely you investigate, Detective. She deliberately uses his title. But if my lack of emotion makes me a suspect in all of this, then why would my home be staged to mask a bomb being planted in it? I'm not stupid, Detective. They were searching for something, and I can assure you that I don't know what it is. I apologize. We have to work fast, and now that we know they know where you live, you are important. I'm not sure if they are trying to eliminate you or scare you. And if they were looking for something, we've got to find it before they do. So you're saying that Edward planted something on me and confessed it to his partners, and now they want it back? Earl stares hard at her. He'd suspected the same thing. He's starting to feel more than respect for her. She's smart, and she's in danger as well. Do you always lock your office door, Emma? No. Lindora and I only recently started after he threatened me. Do you think he hid something in our office? There's no need to alarm your friend. Paul and I will search it, he admits. The following morning, Paul meets with Earl and Emma at the college. She stands in a corner while they conducted their search. She watched while they systematically moved every piece of furniture and books to no avail. The office was clean. They go back to Emma's apartment. To her horror, she finds out that both hers and her daughter's bedrooms were outfitted with the explosives. They help her arrange for movers to come pack her belongings and put them in storage. At her ex-husband Matt's apartment, Earl explains the situation. He agrees that their daughter will stay with him indefinitely. He gestures to the detective. Detective, she's the mother of my daughter. Keep her safe. I will, Earl tells him. They shake hands and they leave. Emma and Earl returns back to his apartment. Paul joins them, and they plan. Emma enters her classroom cautiously. Earl is already seated in the back row. There are police watching the building, the hallways, and the parking lot. They're ready. Emma hands out the test booklets and sits at her desk, patiently watching her students take their test. This was the second such class for the evening. The creative writing class's test was much easier. Then the English 101. Here they had to write essays pertaining to the lessons of the past weeks. When the last booklet hit her desk, Emma gathers them and heads toward her office. Earl heads toward her office. He was planning on asking her to dinner. He knocks and then enters. Lindora looks up and smiles. "Where's Emma?" she asks. Earl's world tilts. She was bringing her test booklets. He didn't finish. He alerts Paul, and together they retrace her steps. They find the booklets spilled on the floor by an exit door. Everyone is mobilized. They search the grounds, the parking lot. Earl notices a camera outside the building. They rush to the security office, demanding the footage from that camera. There, they watch the grainy footage of Emma being dragged by masked men and thrown into a white van. Are you as captivated as I am right now? She's been kidnapped. This is getting more and more serious. If you want to know what happens next, please hit that like button and notification bell. Subscribe and become part of our family.